Hello, everyone. So today let's talk about avoiding depression. So the mind is fickle. It can turn on a dime. Until we can control it and stop from being reactionary, the mind will react to the smallest of circumstances or remarks as a shifting of polarities, of gravitational fields upon our emotions. If we get a response from somebody we don't like, or we don't like the response, or if our circumstance changes slightly, the mind can be just completely toppled over, and our emotions can go from really high to really low, or even from really low to really high. There's certain trends that we fall into. We'll like somebody for a certain amount of time, or we'll think that something can satisfy us or for a certain amount of time. And we'll focus on that very intently without thinking of long-term, what the product is for us long-term, relying on this to entertain us, or this particular person in our lives, or this certain circumstance, just the way things are. Relying upon that, making that our comfort zone, making the reliability of our reality, relying on the comfort of that, can lead to terrible upsets in our mind. Without a firmness that's just behind our regular emotions, our regular thoughts, without a firmness that we can kind of step back into, not a retreat from circumstances, not a retreat from what's going on or communication, not hiding within, but stepping back into a certain strength. It has to do with feeling yourself behind the mind, not viewing yourself as the mind, and understanding that when it comes to emotion, and if we cannot control them, this too will pass, as all things do. Emotions in particular. If we're somebody who is very passionate or has a lot of emotional intensity, or is maybe prone to sadness or prone to manic happiness, we're prone to any of these tendencies, then it's almost like the mind and our emotions is like this storm, this stormy sea, and we're expecting the comfort of our reality remaining stable. It's always the eye of the storm. We expect the eye of the storm to last forever, or we feel like we'll remain stable, or we can be who we are as we are forever, when in actuality, from moment to moment, things change. They always do. There must be an inner firmness just behind the mind that we feel past the emotions. And gaining control of the emotions has to do with not being reactionary. No matter what happens in our world, no matter if somebody says something mean to us, or if we have less money this week, or we can't afford things this week, not reacting to that from a place of emotion, but a place of evaluation, from that inner firmness just behind the emotions in mind. Evaluation rather than reaction is wise when we're dealing with difficult circumstances. Avoiding depression, sometimes it's just trying to get to the next moment sometimes. The next minute, the next hour. Sometimes our world needs to be small, and we need to focus on the smallness of our world when the small things truly get to us, or eating at us, or can upset us in such a tremendous way. We need to narrow our world down, as strange as that sounds, because, you think that if you narrow your world down, then the small things that upset us will have more power. But in actuality, if you focus on the smallness, and you don't retreat from it, you focus within, you just kind of stop the trend of thinking these negative thoughts, of going into a reaction. If you can do that, then you can avoid depression. Stopping those inner trends, those inner fads that, when we start thinking a certain way, when we build up a certain way we react to things, or we respond to things within, as far as a certain line of thinking, maybe self-degradation, or thinking we're not good enough, or this is terrible, I don't think it's ever going to get better, things like that. Stopping that line of thinking before we go down it is very important when you're trying to avoid depression. And it's not easy, because we usually think that we are the mind, and that our thoughts are us, and that we're not really behind them, that we are them, that we can't control them because they are us. But in actuality, we can control them. We can calm them. And we can not be reactionary. Making the world small, getting from one task to another is sometimes what we have to do to avoid depression. Also, thinking from a third-person perspective as well. A little bit of disassociation from who we think we are, or perhaps how great we think we are, or how bad we think we are, how crappy we think we are. A little bit of disassociation from that when things get tough is important. Perceive rather than becoming emotional when reality is not correlating with our idea of ourselves. Sometimes stepping back from that is very important to avoid depression. You're going to have those days. There's going to be days that are hard. There's going to be days that are long. But make your world small and focus on little things. When you start feeling like the world is just caving in on you, when everything is just, it feels like you're suffocated by the world, make your world small and make your mind quiet. That's why meditation helps. One mantra that I repeat, it's good to have a Sanskrit mantra. In my understanding, I think Sanskrit mantras are the most powerful, but there's plenty of other mantras. But they're empowered words that are beyond just self-affirmation or telling ourselves something that's specific to us. That can be good too, but mantras are speaking to our subconscious that goes back into our very human DNA. I might say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. When my mind just goes awry, when things get very dicey, I might say that mantra in my head again and again, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And I might repeat that for 10 minutes to 30 minutes in my head while I'm at my work or out in the world when things really feel dicey. I found that the Om Namah Shivaya mantra really helps me. And that in and of itself, that is calming the mind, focusing it on something rather than just running endlessly from idea to idea. That's just a cascade of just random thoughts, and then you're not in control of it. Doing a mantra like that mentally can help you avoid depression because you're calming all those other thoughts, and you're focusing. You're employing your will, and you're calming your mind through employing your will. And it does take effort to focus on a mantra, but the effort and the employing of will makes you the master of your mind. So mantras, I think, are very important for avoiding depression, but also not being reactionary, calming the mind, and realizing that this or that thing, it's not always going to be there to satisfy you. That realization should always be behind everything. This or that thing's not always going to be there to entertain you, or to numb you, or to support you. That realization, it shouldn't be a fear in the back of your mind. Fear doesn't help avoid depression. It shouldn't be a fear, but there should be an acknowledgement that all the little things that make up our stability in the world, they can always change. We have the right and the ability to not react to the changes, though. And that's why that realization of the nature of change is very important. We must have that ingrained within us for us to be more okay in times like that, when things do get dicey mentally. Avoiding depression becomes an incredibly personal experience, but there's universal ways to address it. I've gone over some of them here. There's more. I'll make more videos like this. I've made many in the past. I hope this has helped a little bit. I'll be talking about this more in the future. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about avoiding depression, shoot them down there in the comment section on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up down there if you like this video. And don't worry, things will get better. They will. But even if they don't, especially if they don't, you must have that inner strength, not be reactionary, and be able to calm the mind. Thank you very much for watching, and all of you have a wonderful day.